And I manually have to... Oh, god damn it, from yesterday. Check Elite Dangerous. Yes. There we go. Alright then. Greetings, internets. It's another day. It's another day where we can examine things. As a matter of fact, I figured that after a while, it's been, well, rather, quite a while. In fact, 1 day ago, yes, on May 19th, Elite Dangerous Odyssey came out. So it's been 3 months exactly. Actually, yeah, no, I didn't actually plan on getting it precisely on 3 months, but, well, yeah, it's been exactly 3 months since Odyssey has been released. So what has been accomplished in it, what is it, or rather what it even has to offer to the players, and, well, what's happened basically, for those that are wondering. And I was curious to just see, you know, what can be said about Odyssey after this time period, if you will. So, wow, well, it is quite a big topic, so might as well just, I don't know, just jump into the game and, well, find a good place to dock my ass at and, start examining this, if you will. And we'll make it fun. We'll make it fun. Alright, then, come on. I see in the chats there the question about EVE Online. The EVE is a bit too large to get into for myself. I kind of wanted to start making maybe videos or just simply playing it, but it's just such a big, massive beast that I just don't have the time to sink into it. So I figured, well, at the end, got shit to do, if you will, so, oh boy, videos to make, if you will, so, yeah. In any case, right, well, it's kind of interesting, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I think, let me check real quick, because I think yesterday, Frontier Developments did release the focused feedback forum thread for the cockpits. Let me check the Reddits. There should be a link to it. That's the issue report. No. That's my video. No. Damn it, where is it? Here we go. Easy enough to find. There we go. We might as well... Oh, wait, hold on. Is that a new member? Yes, that's a new member! Finally, YouTube doesn't screw up and send pointless announcements, thingamajigs. Hey! Welcome to being YouTube member there. Really appreciate it. Where was I? Yes. Right. So, what I opened, let me see. Yes, that's the right monitor. Chocks. There we go. The focused feedback, right? So, developer said, we are looking on information on the following questions. Is this affecting all ships or just specific ships? The overblown visuals, right? Well, frankly speaking, this is an overblown visual thing for the ship's interior. As a matter of fact, this continues on if you're in the space. Actually, I might as well show you. You press launch. If you did it in Horizons, if you press launch and relogged, you would still stay in... Wow! That was blocky. Anyways... in Horizons, if you pressed launch and logged off, you cancelled the launch, kind of. However, in Odyssey, that's gone. Like, that's gone. It fucking sucks, but that's gone. Anyways. Yeah, you can see you are in space. And the cockpit, well, yeah, it looks... okay, but you look at the star, right? give or take, at least so that it illuminates the cockpit itself. It's quite bright. There's basically a massive contrast between the dark, deep depths of space and the cockpit's brightness overall. Now, people had been questioning choice in the quote-unquote lighting. This is more of a color change rather than lighting, in my opinion. Yeah, it should be more or less the changes in coloring that they've done. But this is not the only ship. In fact, while you're sitting in the what is it? Damn it, brain think. In the docking bay, you'll see quite a bit brighter than everywhere else, but still, it is brighter. It is obnoxiously bright, as a matter of fact. So yeah, it's been an issue. Safe to say, an issue, if you will, or rather a poor implementation of the new system. So that's one thing already. But regardless, right? So essentially, they are looking at information at the cockpits and so on and so forth, as if they couldn't be bothered to do that themselves before releasing. I mean, fair enough if you want extra feedback, but it's just, it almost makes me feel like they didn't think that there was a difference, that there was a obnoxious difference between ships. Hauler, as a matter of fact, has missing textures. I've showcased that in the past as well. Yes, it not only is brighter, but it simply has missing textures from Horizon's version. So just for the fun of it, let's switch to, yeah, in this particular position, I should be unmoved. Okay, that's good. So I'll switch to Horizons and let's examine it. As a matter of fact, you know, we don't even need to. Did I get a screenshot from this? Let me check. Yes, I did get the screenshot, so we can... Damn it, I moved the ship. Get another screenshot. Good. Now let's move on to Horizons and see what is the difference, visually speaking. We'll talk about the other issues as well, don't worry. But right now, I'm, you know, it's more topical to give the feedback, although they don't really watch my streams now, do they? And don't, or maybe they do, they just don't want to admit that they do and ignore literally everything that I say. But, you know, whatever, fair is fair, I guess. It's your choice to ignore what your community members say outside of your own forums, which is just the stupidest fucking thing ever. Only place where we validate any sort of information is our own super toxic forums. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Did I send them the Hauler pictures? Nah, I couldn't be bothered to be freelance, not even freelance. Oh, dude, Zamzam, thank you for being awesomely generous there for the Friday. Oh God, yes, it is Friday. As a matter of fact, if you're Latvian and you're in Latvia tomorrow and heading to Unicorn convention, I'll be there. And yes, in Latvia, apparently conventions are opening up. Of course, those that are vaccinated and blah 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 and all that stuff. So there you go. Regardless, where was I? Give me a moment. Coffee sip. Alright, this thing is still going. Good. Right, so the thing is, I'm not here to be a free QA testers for your game, right? That's my thing. I make videos for the community, not for the game. If they really want to test this shit out, maybe playing your own fucking game would be useful. Now, I'm being very cynical and very snarky here, true. The problem is, it's been time and time again when the more obvious issues, anyone who had played the game on the even surface level would see, are just missed time and time and time and time again. That's kind of the message there. So yeah, I've since kind of given up on even trying at this point almost. I will make from time to time commentary, sure, and if you listen into it as a a company or developer, you'll find a couple of things that I even suggest sometimes. But wow, it's quite a different look, isn't it? Oh god damn it! Give me a moment. The fucking... Of course, it automatically switches the Ethernet that you're using. Since I have two, actually three. What was it? I have three... Oh, I shouldn't have... Oh wait, no, yeah. Every time you have two or more network adapters, it switches to one or the other one. If you're lucky, it will switch to automatically to the one that works for the internet. But if you're like me, it might just pick the one that is not for the internet. And that has happened here. And you need to restart in order to switch the network adapter used, which is just a weird choice. It's nice that they have the setting to switch it. True, I agree. A little bit of coding to detect which one has the internet would probably be a better choice as an addition, but regardless. There you go, I suggested something, didn't I? Now, I'm being extremely snarky every time, but how can you not be after years of not only producing content for your customers, for your community, informing literally as a media person not only how to play the game but how to best enjoy it, potentially giving over and entertaining hopefully people. You're being ignored. Well, it kind of does dwindle your hope in them listening ever to you as well. Anyways, right. That's whatever, and we can go, yes. Alright then, let's see, what do we see? And there is quite the difference already here, and, did I get the picture? Hold on, did I get the picture? Yes, ooh, there's a difference. Odyssey, Horizons. Odyssey, Horizons. Odyssey, Horizons. Odyssey, Horizons. Odyssey, Horizons. Odyssey, Horizons. You can see that actually they have removed the lens flares, which is interesting. And those are the same settings, mind you. These are exactly the same settings. Since you switch between the games, it keeps a singular setting anyways. But yeah, in a way, sure, the Odyssey version has a higher contrast between the dashboard and the universe, making it a bit brighter experience. However, it creates a even bigger contrast because the space is also a bit more darker than in Horizons. The thing is, this picture is more uniform, right? The Horizons version is more uniform. The deep dark black of the space is closer to the rather darkish gray of the cockpit, essentially, which doesn't make the jarring feel. However, when you switch to Odyssey version, sure, on the picture version, it makes it look nice. The problem with the design is that essentially, when you have massive basically it's like looking at the text with high contrast on, essentially. Sure, black on white, a text overall is easy to read, right, or white on black, regardless. Problem is, when you have to play and move your eyes constantly looking at different elements and specifically see details in it, it becomes very jarring on the eyes. As a matter of fact, I think it was on the Twitter a little while back when they had some reported issues from a couple of people, or quite a lot of users, that the new color scheme that they were using on one of their color schemes in general, or themes, if you will, or skins, whatever, were, you know, jarring on the eyes. And the same thing is happening here. Sure, on the picture, on the videos, it looks, you know, pretty neat, just like motion blur sometimes do. But that's not good when you're playing it. Motion blur especially, but that's a whole different topic. So yeah, it doesn't take that much time to literally take every single ship in the game. And there are, let's see, there are 39 ships in total, plus the SRV, which is 40, plus the ship launch fighters, which would be, well, the Guardian ones basically have the same internals, so that's one for all of them, so that's 41. Then there's the Imperial fighter, that's 42, 43 for the AX fighter and the similar. I don't remember the manufacturer for it, but independent one. And for the federal one, the Falcon, I think it was, that's 43. 43 different ships. Right? Hopefully I didn't miss any of them. But yeah, 43 different ships. It doesn't take that much time to log in and look at 43 different, or 43 times 2 different interiors. And even just make a simple picture like this. It doesn't take that much time. Pure and simple. That's kind of the point. Anyways, I guess I'm derailing stuff, but yeah, it is pretty interesting, isn't it? The difference. Yeah, it becomes quite hard to see. Of course, it is depending on your position towards the star, true, but hold on. I think this is also missing some textures. Hold on. That? No, okay, no, the textures, the scuff marks, right, here on the panel. Scuff marks, just like in Hall, are actually gone. Mostly because of the brightness, I have feeling, but maybe there's just not even the layer. That texture layer, like for example here. Is it there? No, I think maybe it's there? The scuff marks maybe are there? Well, it's too bright to see. I mean, scuff marks are here, sure. They are the same as in here. Sure, but... yeah. But anyways, that's the difference, right? Well, there you go. There's your focused feedback there, fellas. Enjoy, I guess. Oh, god damn it! Come on, OBS. Oh, you fucking stupid thing. Alright. I'll switch then to Odyssey in the meantime. Right, well, anyways, let's examine essentially what is, or what has happened in the 3 months since Odyssey has been released. We can actually start before that. We can do the timeline overall. I'll be, of course, doing a whole big review for, you know, Odyssey in general, for the hypercritical review. I'm thinking I might wait for the half a year after the release, but well, yeah, still I need to make the part 3 for the hypercritical series, which spans for the Beyond the series and subsequent semi-maintenance phase moment within Elite's history. That'll cover that. And a few other topics as well, and then after that, then there's the part 4, which I plan for the Odyssey in general. So I just need to start writing it, and I will release a couple of more smaller videos. Although today's video wasn't quite small, but the point is, I just need to set up a couple of videos for the meantime for folks to watch, and yeah, then I will get into doing the hypercriticals. But yeah, Oh, come on. Detect the fucking game, you fuck it. I guess we're gonna have to look at the desktop. Anyways. Right, so, let's start with the... Do we start with the release or do we start before the release as a retrospective for Odyssey? What do you think, guys? You wanna hear me ramble before what happened before the release, or do we get into straight in for the release of Odyssey? I'll let you choose. Also, yeah, Hazert and Zero Fox. Yes, well, thank you for becoming Twitch subs there. Really appreciate it. Phew. Alright, in the meantime, I might as well go and land on a planet so that we have that experience of atmospheric stuff, if you will. Let's go for the Shinrartis Desert is only atmospheric. And enjoy that. Before the release. We got a couple before the release. Straight into, please. Alpha debacle. All right. I'll do a somewhat a compromise then. Let's get into basically the alpha period. I'll try to skim through it, if you will, and I'll give my couple of thoughts as a retrospective from the alpha and going onwards. Then, first things first, of course, need to land, damn it. And I would like to... Oh, and now it captures the fucking thing. Okay, fair enough. On the top right, on top left corner, you can see the stats, although technically you don't really need to see them. I can leave it on, but yeah, it's not important since I do cap it at 60 frames, so that well, the graphics card doesn't need to work that hard, and well, the OBS has enough power to sustain stuff. So there you go. Anyways, right, come on, let's go. Let's see. I wish Odyssey was like Star Citizen. The main reason for me was for me saying that that is because I'm on Xbox, because my PC can't run Star Citizen. Well, as an Xbox owner, you can't play Odyssey anyways, because you know they postponed indefinitely from the looks of things, or at least from what they say, currently without a sort of a target date for the release on consoles, which, let's be frank, was to be expected. But regardless, right? Let me just drop down. Did I miss any message there? Sam's message that I really appreciate your doing comparison between Horizons and Odyssey. Hey, appreciate it, yes. Right. Docs. Right. Okay, this planet has become a bit more colorful. Not sure whether or not it is realistic, but I don't care about realism, frankly speaking. I mean, Elite Dangerous has plenty of nonsense. A little bit more color is definitely welcome. Okay. Yeah, let's just aim for something colorful. And as you approach the planet's surface, you start to see details vanish. The funny thing about Odyssey is literally just go closer to the planet's surface and you see details slowly vanishing, getting in, or sort of flattening it out, if you will, and not being realistic, not being real. From the orbit you see, oh, there might be a canyon, but when you get closer, it just flattens out. No more there. But no, it looks like it. It's still a very flat, kind of bumpy, but that's all it is. Still, whatever. Okay, let's then sit down on. Wow, the red color suddenly disappears as well. Let's go for a small-ish hill. Ish thing. Yes, there we go. Good enough. Can I land here? Man, I should have... hold on. Oh. Fine. Give me a moment. Professional landing over here. Give me a moment. Alright, there we go. Okay, right. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. Time for some history lesson then, folks. Right, let's then start with the alpha, right? So, what was the date when alpha was released? 27th April? I think it was 27th April, right? Oh, god damn it. When was the alpha released? April? No. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking Christ. I don't remember the dates. Anyways, right, so, fuck it. Let's go without the dates, because I'm horrible at that. I just remember barely anything. Anyways. Right, so the whole thing started early April. There we go. Right. So in early April, no, not the second one. Anyways. So Odyssey announcement came out. Everyone got hyped that, oh, finally we're gonna get space legs and all that stuff. Oof. That was a proper way to do it. Well, actually, no. The announcement was actually quite funny. And there's plenty to talk about that, but. Anyways, point is, they announced the Odyssey, or rather, accidentally leak it themselves, and then have nowhere else to go, and just end up publishing, I suppose, a bit too early the information about Odyssey, because everyone's got the information anyways. Right. So, Alpha comes out. So first things first, it is deemed as an alpha, right? So, Elite Dangerous Odyssey expansion was sold to people with pre-orders, clearly, because you need that pre-order money, right? And the only people that would access the alpha was people at the time who had purchased not the pre-ordering bonus. No, it wasn't just the pre-order bonus. No, for pre-order bonus, people got a couple of skins and that's it. People that got into alpha were not just the ones that pre-ordered, but those that actually got the fucking deluxe version, right? So not only you gated it off for the pre-orders alone, you gated it off just to sell the fucking deluxe version, and that was clear to me day one, straight away. So alpha was there, for me at least, to sell the deluxe version of pre-orders. Okay. Fine. Actually it's not fine, but the fact of the matter is, it's not the only company doing it. That was to be expected, almost kind of. But regardless, point is, they called it alpha. Now, a couple of months back, the community came out saying that, well, hey, your last updates, years ago, or during the years, have been rather poor. So we, in a sort of a community manner, come together writing this open letter. That was in 2019, at the end of Beyond, I think it was. And people basically banded together, telling developers that they are not appreciating the lack of quality within the updates, going forward, and you can feel that they haven't been tested properly and so on and so forth. So, community's request was that Frontier would give out, not give out, but put up a open beta for any big update, right? You don't expect, every beta for every small update, which is, to be expected. Fine. You don't need to maintain the test server just for some small patch, which is fine. But for bigger updates, yep, we need open betas. And they promised to do that. They also promised to communicate more. That was back in 2019, remember. That was then. Now, when it comes to alpha, so the question was, for me, immediately, why is it called alpha? Isn't a couple of months before a release, quote-unquote, alpha version release, a kind of a weird thing? I mean, generally speaking, to me, alpha was just a name. For me, you can call the Elite Dangerous Odyssey anything, really, the alpha version. I called it a poo-poo platypus, right? Or PP koala. I don't care, right? Whatever you want to call that version that was given out, it was given out for one reason, and that was to get in deluxe pre-orders. Now, but still, they chose to name it Alpha. And my suspicion was that they named it Alpha because they previously knew, well, hey, if we call it Beta, the community is gonna be saying, well, hey, you promised to give out all the major update betas for open testing, for open public testing. What the hell, right? And that was kind of the only suspicion that I thought that they chose to go with the Alpha name. But that's just my suspicion. That's my kind of an explanation for why it was named that way. Regardless of which, it was really just to sell the fucking pre-orders. And deluxe version of pre-order, of course, utilizing the whole FOMO, the fear of missing out phenomenon. So there you go. In any case, so Alpha comes around. Me and everyone else logs in for the first time to experience that space legs. The first week they segmented it for the 4 weeks, and as a media member here, it was interesting for me to see how they chose to publish the Alpha in general, or rather put it out, because I could pretty much see what it was. For me as a media member, right? I have my community and all that stuff. I make sure to cover the newest and latest stuff for the most part, just like my community peers, and that's what most other media members do, right? And segmenting the release, or well, the early preview for the Odyssey in 4 weeks, well, that was also kind of done for media reasons. Sort of every week adding a little bit more extra crap into it, sort of making, or rather incentivizing media people to continuously make content for it when the new stuff comes out. However, it didn't feel, well, so the second and third week felt like there just wasn't quite enough content in comparison to the original release. But regardless, every week, hey, there's a new news cycle about the new things that are released for the Alpha and so on and so forth. And, well, it yet again exploiting the community for the sales. And it's not like Frontier Developments is the only company that does this sort of a segmented release, even preview way sort of a release, if you will. Nvidia back in the day did that as well. It still does, as a matter of fact. They have the embargo for unboxing, embargo for news, embargo for news announcement, embargo for unboxing, and embargo for single card testing, and embargo for SLI testing for graphics cards. At least that was the case with the 3000 series graphics cards. And the same behavior you can see here with Frontier's approach at release, or at least, preview for Odyssey. Every week there's something new coming out, and thus incentivizing people to continuously just look at it. And it's not a bad marketing tactic, as long as it's done well. Fine. You don't need to constantly keep up. But for me as a media person, it really was just kind of a scummy way of trying to prolong the exposure of your content. It never is fun. It never is fun when you feel that as a creator, you, like it or not, you are obligated to report on the newest things for the community, for the people who, rely on you to present the newest stuff and information about it. So yeah, it didn't feel quite nice, but it's fair game, I suppose. In any case, Alpha comes out. So, well, we have plenty of the wow factors. Everyone's saying, well, don't judge it. They didn't say of what percentage of the actual gameplay that they want to put in is this whole thing, and everyone was sort of carefully speculating. Oh, well, this might be just that, and don't be too harsh just yet. It's first of all, it was just alpha and so on and so forth, and I no, just no. Fact of the matter is, I previously said that essentially the alpha was released as a incentive to sell or get people to buy the deluxe version of the Odyssey, right? Shell out extra money for it, and well, that was the case. Whether or not it was called alpha or what else was irrelevant. As a matter of fact, also the version that they released was also irrelevant. Yes, as a matter of fact, the alpha that they released, whatever state it was irrelevant. It could have been the most broken piece of shit ever, and it would have still served the purpose, which it did. So yeah, in any case, so the alpha was released, and my fellow content creators, me, myself, and everyone was making content and thinking, examining, and looking at things that they presented. There were some questionable changes already noticeable, and well, through some feedback, sure, feedback was an extra bonus that they got from releasing the alpha version, but yeah, it didn't really help too much for the release what it was. In any case, so yeah, they released the alpha. We tested, quote unquote. We poke it, we prod it, and well, for me at the time, I was thinking, well, it is quite badly optimized, or rather, it didn't have any optimization. It lacked quite a bit of features. For example, they specifically locked out engineering as the preview for the alpha, and I, well, clearly and rightfully so, suspected the grind to be there and ready for the player consumption. And yeah, considering that well, you kind of shouldn't show the best show the worst parts about the alpha, or preview of your next thing. You should show the best leg, right? Fair enough, expected. But yeah, in any case, moving on then, yeah, everyone was just testing it and feeling it or not feeling it, if you will. And the performance was the biggest issue, of course, for everyone. And at the time, I was thinking, well, okay, this is sort of the version that they would release, or rather, a version of the game or the expansion that they are willing to release, or rather have been preparing before they started work on optimizing. Now, in software development, in game development in general, the very last step is always optimizations. Well, give or take, there are intermediary optimizations for just the actual testing purposes and so on and so forth. But the point is, before you release the game, you literally put in all the things and then sort of polished it up and made sure that the performance is not abhorrent, and including such things as the culling, and then basically implementing performance improving adjustments. It is the least visual thing, it is the least felt thing, or rather observed thing. It is the least observed thing, however, it is one of the more telling parts of the game's development, if you will. Because oftentimes, if a company wants to release a game, well, when all the features are set and done, they work. Doesn't matter what performance it is, you can release it earlier if you skip the last step. And well, that kind of will lead us into the release of Odyssey. But yeah, I expected that whatever alpha version we got for Odyssey before the launch was that version of the game before they started working on optimizations, and I had full trust in Frontier Development's development team for Elite Dangerous to had been already working on Odyssey's optimization for months, if not just started. Although actually no, my perception at the time was that they already worked on optimization. It's just that version that we got for alpha was just some older build that was just for the presentation purposes and then not much of a representation of what the actual performance would be. How wrong I was there. Surprisingly, the only time, and Drunk Ukrainian, well, hey, thank you for the subscription there. But no, me giving a benefit of the doubt to the development team that they already were working, if not already nearly finished developing the final step of any kind of a game design, not the game design, but just game portion or what else. Optimization was nearly done or already heavily in process. So in my coverage about alpha, right, I remember making videos and so on and so forth, I criticized the game design ideas, the visual things that were set in stone, like the menus, for example, the UI. Because, UI visually, right, the amount of frames that it would, take to render the whole visual animation smoothness, I sort of set aside, knowing that, they probably already worked that stuff out. However, the idea of the visual look and so-called design, now that was already set in stone, and that's what I critiqued the most. So there were already some weird signs, some weird changes. You can go back and watch a couple of those videos, but regardless. After that, during the whole alpha period, I specifically avoided talking about performance. Yeah, for the alpha zone, visuals or not visuals, but for the alpha's own performance, you could say that alpha ran like shit and so on and so forth. But as a presentation, I didn't really care for it because that was literally just a presentation, right? Fuck it. So, surprisingly, I was the one of the few creators out there that specifically avoided talking about performance. Now, alpha ends. A couple of weeks go by, and we get some information. During the alpha, it was interesting that developers, or rather the community, gave developers rather interesting and uniformly strong message about the exploration, which is pretty funny. The exploration minigame, the exobiology, so-called. The matching circles gameplay was was an interesting message that everyone came together to sort of send. So with Odyssey, we already knew at the time that we would get 2 new elite ranks. One would be combat rank on foot, and exploration, plant scanning elite rank for that, basically. So 2 new ranks, exploration and combat. Okay, fair enough. My question originally was, why do we need extra ranks for Space Legs gameplay? Honestly, I really still wonder, why do we still need Space Legs elite ranks in general? Why couldn't it just simply count towards the ship elite ranks and so on and so forth. But, I mean, I can understand partially how they were thinking. On-foot FPS gameplay is very different from vehicle-based gameplay that is with ships, combat-wise. It is completely different, and okay, fine, I can understand that. But exploration... it really doesn't interact with anyone else. It literally is scanning and looking things, examining things. So why was that specifically cordoned off? That was a good question for me, and to this day I doubt that they actually answered why there is elite rank for that one. But in any case, the funniest thing was that unlike planet scanning and traveling and you know, the normal exploration gameplay that we see all around the place with ships, elite rank for space legs exploration literally just was summarized with one thing: standing and looking at a plant. And that was all you did. There was no variation. There was just standing and looking at a plant. And that was elite rank, which really was just weird. And now, because, well, people didn't like the mini game that they basically asked us to do for the gameplay, they removed it, and now it's just simply scan a thing, get in the ship, fly to sufficiently far enough place on the planet to scan again, the same sort of a thing. So now, what that elite rank is literally just standing and looking at the plant without a mini game. So I'm just... I still can't fathom the design idea of why was that needed to be elite rank. Remember, you get elite rank for those two, the Space Legs FPS or Exploration. You get elite rank in those, and you get to Shinra to Desra. If I... Should be, right? Should be. Well, regardless. It's ridiculous. Bottom line is, it's ridiculous. And, well, there's more to be said about exploration and the way they implemented it, but, you know, regardless. And, yeah, Alpha overall was, well, as a presentation, I perceived it only as a presentation, not a real... you know, sort of a representation of the actual Odyssey and its gameplay. I expected parts of it to be far worse, which with engineering was, but, you know, with some considerations, mainly on performance side. So, the fact that it was called Alpha was weird. The fact that they stretched it out for 4 weeks was done purely for media fuckery, if you will, to sort of quote-unquote incentivize media to cover it more and more every week, which I personally, as a media person, didn't like too much, but whatever. But yeah, that sort of a early preview was kind of disgusting, mostly because of the pre-orders and all that stuff. Regardless, fine. That's the Frontiers MO with Horizons as well. They had basically the same sort of a thing, but not as horrible, I'd say. Those of you that actually did take part in Horizons beta back in the day before its release, you might know this better. But as far as I remember people telling me was essentially... Before Horizons was launched, of course, it had pre-orders as well, which is MO. And those that pre-ordered were able to access the beta. At the time, it was called beta for Horizons, before its full release, before the 2.0 release. Now, that one... I don't think it did stretch for more than 2 weeks. It might have been just a 2 week of well, examination of the first update for Horizons, which was literally just landing on planets and driving around with SRVs. Anyways, those of you in the chats who actually took part in it, or at least remember it, let me know, because at the time I was still working on planet-side content and so on and so forth. It was that off period which I paid very little attention to Elite Dangerous. Regardless, yeah. Let's see. Loki Zemeval, hello everyone else in them chats as well. I am literally recapping what happened going upwards to Odyssey's launch and after it, retrospective of it. So, right. After Alpha ends, oh gods, I've been talking for about an hour and now I'm only done with Alpha, right? In any case, right, so the Alpha ends, developers come out saying that, yeah, we'll remove that mini game for exploration or xenobiology. So now the gameplay is just literally pathetic. But in any case, they proceeded on with, quote-unquote feedback and what they could, they implemented, or at least how little they managed to implement in the time. The time was for Odyssey to finally be released. So on 19th May 2021, Odyssey is released. Now, unlike Alpha release, it wasn't as actually buggy release, or rather server breaking release. You would actually be able to play and enjoy the alpha, actually enjoy the official full release of Odyssey. Finished. Remember, it was finished release. It wasn't marked as early access, it wasn't marked as beta, it wasn't marked as alpha, it wasn't marked as any of those things. It was a full release. That's how though they didn't say it nowhere on the nowhere on the Frontier forum, not the Frontier forums, but Frontier store, Steam or Epic Store or anywhere else. You didn't see the early access title or marker for Odyssey when it launched on 19th May. So that was what Frontier Developments considered a full release, officially. Now, essentially, let's see, there was a... damn it. There was a thread I wanted to... damn it. It was a release. Yes, right. The servers. I forgot to mention that on Alpha, the servers were very unstable, and the first day of Alpha, as everyone literally flocked to Elite Dangerous Odyssey, right? That Alpha version, everyone was, crowding the servers and, just obliterating the poor Amazon servers, which, if you didn't know, Elite Dangerous runs on. Now, on Odyssey's launch, the official full release on 19th, they seem to have learned, or they simply didn't had as much influx of player numbers to, crash the servers or make it unplayable. So everyone was more or less with a little bit of extra time able to log in and explore and enjoy the first full version of Odyssey. Now, people are already in alpha version noted a couple of interesting things. First of all, that the atmospheric planets, like the one you can see on the screen right now, well, they had the pretty sky, they had more textures and so on and so forth. And we'll get to the goods and the bads and the uglies of Odyssey. But for now, recapping. So yeah, people already knew that the planets and the way Horizons worked, Horizons planets were the Horizons planets were still more interesting, even though lesser detailed through textures and so on and so forth. Let's see. People finally got to play around with their accounts fully and enjoy the full set of features that Odyssey had to show off. Now, it was interesting that after examination, it didn't take much time. It really didn't take much time for people to realize that, well, what they showed people in alpha, feature-wise, was about 90%. Now, depending on how you judge the amount of grind that engineering is, which could be either a lot or a little, but I'll consider the repetitive game loops to be time consuming, but not a lot of content overall. So that's why I say 10%. What we saw in alpha, surprisingly, was about 90% of the feature list and set of alpha. The only things that we realized eventually was that Odyssey's full release and the alpha version, in the alpha version we didn't get any engineering, right? So all the weapons, none of that. And now that I think of it, that was it. Maybe a couple of planets. Or planet types, rather, that we couldn't land on or didn't have access to. But no. The only thing that alpha, or rather in the alpha period, we didn't get to experience was engineering. For the spacesuits and the weapons. Correct me if I'm wrong. Holy shit. Well, there's a retrospective for you. So within the alpha, it was interesting that about 90%. Let's be rough and say that it was restricted access to atmospherics, I believe. Yeah, I think there were some restrictions that you couldn't land on all atmospheric planets, but yeah, basically the only feature, the only thing in alpha that we didn't get to experience that was in the full finished version was engineering. And that's how it is to this day. Not a single new feature, new gameplay, or new thing has come out for Odyssey that we didn't get in alpha. So to those who yelled, well, don't judge Odyssey. Odyssey's alpha, that is. Don't judge Odyssey's alpha. We don't know how much more features we got or don't got. Fair enough. At the time, I could understand your principle, but now with the hindsight, how silly are you? Don't you feel silly for defending this stuff? Kinda is. But regardless. The more important thing, though, was not the features. People were not shocked at the features. The fact that we didn't get any actual features beyond the grind, repetitive grind that was engineering. People were shocked, first and foremost, about the lacking performance. For the preview alpha version for Odyssey, right? Well, the performance was bad because no optimization was performed for it. People had examined it. As a matter of fact, if you had installed render doc program and examined it, if you did that, you would see that performance-wise, the optimization portion of the game was not developed, or rather placed in the alpha at the time. I expected it to be, already in the works while the alpha was basically being released. So, yeah, alpha being a very old version of the game. And I was wrong. On the launch, we realized, after examining the details, after looking through the stats, and of course with more knowledgeable people in the audience, essentially using different tools like RenderDoc, people quickly realized alpha version and the full release was very minimally different performance-wise. So basically what we got during the alpha period was, well, I would say 95%, if not more, what Odyssey would eventually be. Or at least eventually be released as. And result we can see today. As a matter of fact, we can actually take a moment and look what the result really was. Give me a moment. Now this is not gonna be the greatest summary because we only have one platform to example, to sample, to draw conclusions from. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. All right, so let me just show you Steam charts. Yes. Now, of course, Elite Dangerous is available on 3 platforms on PC alone, and that is the Steam, for which we have actually stats, Frontier Forums, Frontier Store, the Frontier's own launcher, which I personally use, or if you are one of the people who picked up Elite Dangerous for free during Elite Dangerous free to keep week, if you will, on Epic Store, then Epic Store as well. As a matter of fact, on Epic Store there are far more users, or at least accounts, accounts, not necessarily players, than on Steam. But in any case, on Steam alone, you can see the stats here quite well. So, before the launch, right, so let's scroll back here. So, 2000 and, when did the announcement come out? Was it October, really? No, here we go, yes, there we go. Right, so this bump right here on the June, middle of the summer, they accidentally launched the trailer for the Odyssey, I think it was. And well, here you can see the big bump in everyone's notoriety. Yeah, basically notoriety. No. In notice of the game. So basically everyone logs in to just check out the thing among the news that Space Legs are coming in about a year or so. Okay, so after that hype dies down, it goes back to about 8,000 or so during the end of the during the middle of the year, if you will, and then it's slowly picks up again until the April 27th. I was right. April 27th was when the Odyssey Alpha launched. Haha, I was correct. But in any case, so in April, they finally, they slowly gear up with the news and so on and so forth up until the release of the alpha version, right? So they release it and the player numbers are through the roof. Most players we've ever seen, at least on Steam, ever. And then, well, let's see, and then comes the, well, during that period between the alpha and release of Odyssey was relatively hype-filled, maybe? I don't know. Everyone was, still waiting for the actual release, so they were still playing the game quite a lot. You can see that the stat-wise, it didn't really change too much. So there we go. So let's see. That's yeah. Unfortunately, we don't see the full numbers anymore. But the point is, on the launch, though there weren't as many active players, still it's just the active players, right? Once it launches, oh boy! Once it launched, the numbers, as people started realizing, well, dropped. Because the fact that we as the community, everyone understood that the alpha version was not just a preview, it was the game. It was the most current version, give or take, for the Odyssey. And it was that bad. It was that incredibly bad that to this day, the player numbers, when you have the lowest in the year, numbers around 8,000, 9,000 concurrent on Steam alone, now have dropped to 5,000, yeah, give or take 5,000, being below even the lowest point in about a year. When was the last time actually the game was around this player number count. Jesus Christ. It's not even as bad as it was during Beyond. Or, well, after Beyond. When was the last time we got this small amount of players around? I mean, yeah, we can only see snapshots of essentially months, but in the last... Jesus Christ. Hold on, there is one more month. Okay, 2016 April. Since 2016 April, or April of 2016, it hasn't been this low player numbers since that time. Of course, now the August in of itself is around 6.3, but okay, let's go with the 6.3 as the average of the month. But it's dropping. It continuously keeps dropping for the last 3 months. You can see the player numbers dwindling. Of course, after every launch of the game, you can always see a downwards trend. As a matter of fact, I can show you what happens for even considerably good games. So No Man's Sky. God damn it. No Man's Skite. There we go. No Man... Give me a moment. It's... There we go. No Man's Sky. I write correctly. Right, with No Man's Sky, you can see that there's a big bump, and then there's a subsequent dwindling of the player numbers. For No Man's Sky, it is interesting that it reached some incredible peaks. Just incredible peaks, and then for the rest of the time, you can see 10 times the decrease of player numbers. However, it's steady, right? The bottom line is it's quite steady. These days, yeah, it's relatively steady as well. It just goes up and down, give or take. But after each update, each game release, as a matter of fact, you can even see the game release here. You have a lot of people, you know, jumping in, and then it just drops. Let's see, exponential drop, if you will. That's normal for any game. It always does like that. However, with Elite Dangerous, it's... usually you would see after an update. After an update, you can usually see that drop stay around the same level the past months were. For Elite Dangerous, that's not the truth, because for the last year or so, even if we're not counting that year of hype for Odyssey, right? You can see the year of 2019. There we go, 2019, the Beyond series end, right? Rather Beyond series, when 2019 year was the whole year for Beyond series, right? For that whole year, the average player numbers 7,000, 9,000. Let's put it at 8,500, the approximation of the year, right? Not counting, of course, the big releases, right? So it should, you know, by all means, return to about this level. But it didn't. It didn't, and it continuously keeps dropping. So yeah, it's far worse than it was. But in any case, it is quite telling already to see basically the player numbers on one of the platforms drop. I can only imagine what happens now on Epic Stores or Frontier's own store, if you will, or even on consoles. I would love to see the numbers on consoles as well. And also, thanks for the bits there, Tinkertron. Yes, I love your content. Sorry, cheapskate, dude. Any bit helps. Any little support does help a lot. Trust me. So there you go. So thank you. Anyways, continuing then on. Essentially, let's see. So the damn thing launches, right? And what happened in those 3 months? What happened in the 3 months? Well, Well, we can basically go month by month and examine what basically is the result of it. But summary-wise, essentially, performance-wise, it hasn't improved. It really hasn't. Well, depends on what your definition of improved is. Because the fact of the matter is, as I said previously, or rather I hinted at previously, I did say this in my review and a few other places, Odyssey was deliberately released early. Management or higher ups, whoever it is, the head honcho, you know, maybe Braben himself, who knows? I don't know. I'm speculating at best. But the bottom line is, it came from the top that they needed numbers. They needed numbers for their Excel sheets for the end of the year, for the fiscal end of the year for the company. And well, hey, Odyssey has to come out now. What state is the game? Who cares? We need those numbers on the spreadsheet. Somebody really wanted those numbers on the spreadsheet. Rather than actually catering to the community, you know, the customers that actually pay for what they create. Rather than making sure that their creative work is up to snuff. Somebody in the company decided, hey, we need Excel sheets numbers. And they forced out Odyssey. That's basically what had happened. Not only you can feel that the feature list within the game are cut, if you believe the leaks that have been circling around since before Odyssey was announced, there should have been building on planet's surface. Yes, like in No Man's Sky. The building system. Like walking outside with outside your ship with some sort of a thing and building a base. That apparently was one of the leak-based information. Because thus far, I think it was April 9th. Yeah, I think it was April 19th also. That somebody on the Reddits claimed that they, you know, they have information about Elite Dangerous and its future projects, and so on and so forth. And they got it exactly right. Every single prediction from that leak was absolutely correct. And it wasn't just for Elite Dangerous. It was for Jurassic World and Planet Coaster, as well as Planet Zoo, I think it was. And a few other mentions of some other projects. Regardless. One of those things, or rather for Elite Dangerous, they had the person posted leaks basically amounting to, I think it was 3 things. One was about some skins, I think it was. Oh wait, no, there were 2. Sorry. I don't think they actually talked about skins. But regardless, there were 2 predictions for Elite Dangerous. The so-called Project Watson. If you, let's say, take Elite Dangerous dump data right now, check out my video on my channel. There's information how to get dump data out of a game and so on and so forth, and extrapolate information from it. Essentially, see and read what data has the game loaded in your machine's memory. But regardless, through that data, people have already reported the information that there is a reference to something called Watson in it. So that gives even more credence to that leak. However, this so-called Project Watson in that 2019 leak was about space legs. It felt like a weird thing, but it felt like a dream come true almost back in the day when we heard it for the first time. I made a video about it, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's it's kind of interesting that it was correct. And the only thing from that whole leak was that Space Legs is coming, and there would be building on planets. Now, the only thing from that leak that hasn't been or hasn't come true is building on planets. Is the engine capable of even building? I don't know. But considering that that leak had that one thing that didn't come through, and everything else did, kind of makes me think that maybe later date, maybe after months of Odyssey's development, finally after maybe years, we might see building on planet surfaces. If that comes through, then, well, hey, that leak was completely correct, and well, if building on planet surfaces comes out, we know that that was a cut feature from Horizon, from Odyssey. Because come to think, we go basically back to what Odyssey was. Odyssey is a full expansion, and as a full expansion, usually you expect more than a very generic FPS gameplay. Very well, maybe not simplistic, but a texture swap, a new planet tech, which, frankly speaking, also would affect the base game. So it's not only for the Odyssey itself, it's also for the whole game. So yeah, textures also for Horizons, I think, will be changing when they merge them. But regardless, the point is, the planet tech and the textures I count more as a overall game alteration for the new age to support the actual features that they wanted to put in, and that is the space legs, space pew-pews, space-like pew-pews, that is, and exploration. So, realistically speaking, for $40, what actual features we were paying for were the support for their existence, and three things. Three things for $40. Space legs, pew-pews, and plants, the so-called gameplay that is exobiology. There we go. And that's for $40. Well, if you want to call the gameplay as engineering, then you must be completely insane, I got to say. But that's on you. The bottom line is, that was the gameplay. It kind of feels far too little for $40, doesn't it? Yes, the planet surfaces are nice and all, but they are necessary to support that actual gameplay that they wanted to put in. Sure, it kind of looks okay. There are issues with it as well. But it really, bottom line is that it feels like something has been cut from this whole content. And the cut content, as I sort of hint here already, is potentially the planet building. Buildings on planets. Now, of course, you can say that, well, hey, maybe there's the story. And that is true. Yes. Maybe there is the story. Maybe there is the story gameplay and features that still are under wraps that will come out. And we know that there are a couple of things that definitely will be coming out, like a new SRV. Actually, hold on. I can show you the new SRV that one of these days we'll see. Because that was a new addition to Elite Dangerous with Odyssey. Let me just get the picture, and ta-da! This is in game files, by the way. I was given this is actually working. I made a video about it, if you didn't see it. This is the SRV that is gonna be most likely coming out soon. Or, well, as soon as they manage to get the servers and the game working to an acceptable level, which is 3 months from now on, most likely, at the best case scenario, I'd say. But regardless, this is one of the features that we might see. And additionally, in the dump data, people have found references to Titan Targoid. Essentially a new kind of a Targoid instance or mothership or something like that. There are references to, let's see if I remember correctly, to Caustic Cloud, caustic resistant sensors, and a few other modules. I don't remember exactly what they were, but again, I made a video about all that information, so go and check it out. However, the point is, this content, they well, they can't really release just yet. Because because they have two problems right now. The problem number one is the performance, right? Why would you push out content, interesting and cool looking content, when the game is broken? Or not, no, sorry. Why do I use the word broken? When the game hasn't been given time to be developed in the first place. Remember, the fact that we have low frame rate is not because something is broken. No. It's because it hasn't been developed. That is, optimization, the final step of development, hasn't been worked on. You have to remember, every time I talk about, and you yourself talk about, hopefully you will remember to curb the word broken, because it's not broken. It's simply not been developed. We have to put. Well, I personally feel it important that we have to push for honest communication from the game developers, and make them basically admit the truth. Because the bad performance is provably because they simply hadn't implemented even such simple optimization things as culling. Those that don't know, culling essentially is a method through which the game calculates what objects have to be rendered and which the game doesn't need to, depending on where your position is. Basically, what that means is you stand next to a wall of a building. Your graphics card should not take time to render or attempt to even render any plants, pots, NPCs inside. That's a waste of a cycle. Clearly, if you're looking at a wall, right? So that's what culling essentially is. It determines what things should not be rendered. So there you go. But yeah, so we can prove, well, at least on the launch. I haven't checked just recently. If anybody uses RenderDoc or knows these things and have the information, feel free to contact me through my contact email on the YouTube. That is, well, regardless, you can find it easily, right? And anonymously, you can provide information if need be as well. But regardless, the point is, I still think part of the culling, if not all the culling, is still in the works. And that one day will come out, and then the performance will be back to normal. However, until they develop that part of the game that hasn't literally been skipped just to release this thing quickly, well, until then, we won't see any new content. Because what is the point in releasing new content when, well, you still need to develop the base upon which that content should stand upon, kind of. But in any case, so yeah, culling-wise, actually I've made a video about the whole performance and explanation and so on and so forth. You can check it out how it works. It is really interesting technical video, more or less. So I won't delve into it, but it is really cool. So yeah, but there's another issue. Consoles. Fact of the matter is, consoles are, well, I wouldn't say consoles are the issue. The fact is that the performance is so bad that consoles cannot run it. Pure and simple. The current version of Odyssey is so bad that the poor graphics cards are on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One will not be able to run this thing on a proper frame rate. So we still have to wait until the optimization is developed in the first place. So, if they release, let's say they develop enough optimization so that average PC can handle this thing and run it on acceptable frame rates all the time, right? Without hitches or issues and whatnot else. Just like Horizon did, right? Well, even though Horizon has issues. Anyways, the point is, it is up to Horizon's standard. You release new content and you don't have, well, the console version. What happens then? Well, the console people, they simply, even though they pre-ordered, remember there are pre-orders on consoles as well. The people who pre-ordered on consoles, well, how can they enjoy the content and its ongoing storyline that apparently, well, I guess, is being developed as the hidden part of this $40 overpriced thing, right? How could they get that value if they miss out on it, right? That would be just normal thing. If you're gonna be releasing new story content, you have to make sure that both the consoles, well, every player, every paying customer that paid for your big thing gets the value out of it. The problem is performance. So until we actually see the console version of the game, I highly doubt they will risk releasing any new story content, which includes potentially this SRV, the Targoid Titan Cloud, and whatever other fucking things they have in the works. And that's the saddest thing. Everything is literally bogged down by the performance of, well, or rather, the unfinished development of this thing. So that's the state of the game right now, if you will, if you needed a sort of a summary of it. I see a question in the chats there. Iribol, right? So, quick question: what is the purpose of settlements having mission boards if they don't work? That is a weird thing. Again, maybe it's a cut content. Maybe it's either a cut content or it's simply building for the future. I would say it's cut. I would say it's more like a cut content. Because remember, in order to get at least a playable version of Odyssey, they had to rush the few features that were developed already, and even then they didn't have any time for any more of the stuff. And the saddest thing about Odyssey and any kind of a game like this is essentially it releases underwhelming, heavily underwhelming. It feels like content has been cut clearly for a lot of, and you're still buying it for a lot of money, and then one day they finally release it. People praise that release. Sure, it's more content, but frankly speaking, I don't feel like that should be actually praised. It doesn't deserve to be praised. If you release later down the line the content that should have been at the launch of this product, should you be praised for just cutting it in the first place? That's kind of the thing, isn't it? Often I look at these things, especially with something like Cyberpunk, right? Or well, any game, as a matter of fact. You say that you're going to delay this portion of development cycle or part of the game for the later release because we can't develop it, and you still need to pay the same price. Does it really deserve praise? Just because you said, well, hey, we're gonna release it later, maybe. Or without even telling you, hey, base building on planets, that's gonna come out later. That's the thing. And yeah, I'm being quite cynical here, but that's just me, I suppose. But yeah, Button Pusher there is right as well. 100 developers. The fact of the matter is, yes, developers were so willing to boast about the fact that, hey, we have 100, approximately, people working on Elite Dangerous. Well, it doesn't feel... Does this really feel like 100 developer team? Even considering that majority of the team was working on Odyssey. And approximately, for what I was quoted, approximately 25% of that team, or 25% of the 100 people team, was working on the ongoing content for Beyond and After Beyond, right? So approximately 75 developers, give or take with, time and so on and so forth, even let's say 50 people consistently worked on Odyssey for the last... let's say 2 years. Extra 25 came at the last year, and they started out maybe with 25 developers at 3 years ago or something like that. Even after 3 years with consistent, let's say, 25-man team, does this feel like that sort of a result? You look at the whole 25-man team on No Man's Sky and every update that they release. Does this look like it? You look at Warframe, you look at any other fucking game. And sure, you may even have the least or lesser knowledgeable coders and designers and makers, whatever, for the fucking thing. But it doesn't feel like it. For $40 less, let alone, right? Or not, no, it was... Yeah, it was $40, 35 euros. For that amount of price, where's the value that you approximately value, or is this simply an overpriced thing? And the funny thing is, right, because they released it early, right, and released it as a fully finished product, they can't really go back now and say that, well, sorry, we released it unready, or, well, because at that point, literally people can start suing them. So they have to keep up this charade that, oh, well, it was just a boom boom. We bungled it up. Sorry, guys. And it's such a charade. It's such a flimsy fucking charade, which I absolutely hate to see. I feel truly sad for the developers that actually need to develop this stuff, because their passion, their work, their hard work has been fucked over by some fucking exec or whatever that decided, hey, we need numbers in our goddamn Excel sheet. That's what has happened because of the shitty decisions on the higher ups. And I did say this when it released and later down the line and even now. Blame the fucking executives, blame the management of the fucking company, because they are truly guilty of fucking this over, fucking the game over completely, and to everyone, as a matter of fact. That is on the workers, screwing up their work, their time, and their efforts, screwing up the fucking community, as a matter of fact. And, well, as much as I let's say, don't particularly like the PR team of the company, I even feel sad for them, because they have to smile and wave every time they come on camera and talk about what's going on. They're forced to do it, and they can't say that, hey, we know that we released this early, this broken, this cut down, and we asked you to pay a lot of fucking money for a very subpar product. How can you not feel sorry for them? Unfortunately. And the saddest thing is, none of the fucking executives of the company, none of the decision makers for Elite Dangerous product will feel the burn. Really. None of them will give a fuck even, probably. I highly doubt that Braben himself even cares. Because he has his F1 game to make. Because the man is probably the most interested about the F1 game. Because fuck Elite Dangerous. Yeah, the baby is there. His baby. Yeah. His baby's on the fucking floor. Damn it. Whether or not he dropped it or somebody else dropped it. Regardless, the fact is, the fucking baby's on the floor and its skull is bashed. That's a very gruesome and grim sort of analogy, but there you go. It's a better when, yeah, it's definitely better when you put it in a joke format that I did for the quote-unquote review. But there you go. Very grim analogy. Peanut Pete, right, so yeah, makes this whole video criticizing Elite Dangerous things of personal attacks by fronted dev definition. You're not allowed to talk about Elite Dangerous. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, my expression thing is first things first, right? The whole personal attack nonsense, right? I know Pete there is saying that in a sarcastic way, but the fact that it is, a lot of companies, a lot of people still consider, me calling out, or well, any kind of a criticism calling out without mentioning names, which is one of the principles I go by. Calling something really stupid, and using expressive emotes and expressive words and mannerisms and whatnot else to be personal attacks, which it's really not. Fact of the matter is, my principle is often go after the work of the body, and rather or not or but and stay away from direct names. Even now, as I mentioned, Mr. Braben there, because he is the CEO of the company, unfortunately, there's just no one higher up than him, unless we're talking about shadow investors, if you will. But even the investors don't give a fuck, frankly speaking. So, fact of the matter is, the head honcho is him. So, there's no way to literally not address the man. But the point is, for every other developer out there, I always use terms and terminology that always goes away, or rather stays away from any sort of personal reference to anything. And whenever I say, let's say, a designer or whatnot else, it's always a nebulous sort of a job title rather than the person itself. So there you go. But regardless, that's a little bit of explanation there. Right, so Scrotoboto, I guess, always the best critique. Well, I appreciate you being very generous there with Twitch Twitch sub there, and let's just go with Mark, because that should be okay. Thank you for subscribing there as well. Really appreciate you contributing to the channel. Anyways, so yeah, Odyssey. Bottom line is, blame the management. And again, you see, I avoid names or people. It's the job title that I'm going after. The person who makes decision in the job title. There you go. These people are to be blamed for this horrible release. The fact of the matter is, Elite Dangerous Odyssey, this whole expansion, had to be delayed. It just had to be delayed, be that because of COVID or not. I would have taken easily a delay for a year or two. As long as we get what we paid for, a quality product, it is far better than this shit. Hold on. No, damn it. I don't have the... It's far better than... Hold on. Than this shit. Than this fucking drop. Right? It's far better than this. This statistic. And others, of course. People are willing to wait for a good fucking thing. Yet somebody in the company hasn't learned it. All they need is just a fucking number. But there you go. So yeah, it feels like it essentially is a cut down version for an exorbitant amount of money for basically non-gameplay. So yeah, well, anyways, back to the retrospective, generally speaking. If you guys have any questions and so on and so forth, do mention the channel name in the chats, because yeah, that does make the questions essentially pop out, so I can easily, quickly, address them and see them. But anyways, I say that the community managers are not forced to do it. It is a job. They get handed the info to put out and take the heat. That's what they're paid for. The thing is, I wouldn't say they're there to take the heat. No, Again, community managers, well, the faces, if you will, for the company, they are there to... Well, I suppose, yeah, some companies do consider the faces, the public faces of the company, be that a community manager or not, to be basically the one job position, if you will, that is, like they're not taking the brunt of the heat. And, well, it is unfortunate, but yeah, that's how it is with businesses overall. So there you go. Anyways, Snedex, hey, I'm a long-time lurker. I do have a question for you. What would you see? What would you like to see from Frontier Developments in terms of releases over the next 6 months to make up for the botched launch? It's not just botched launch. It's botched release. Well, not release, but the whole expansion, as a matter of fact. There is no simple answer. I mean, they're gonna do what they were supposed to do in the first place. It's just that now they're gonna be doing it in public eye. Botched product. Well, regardless, the point is that right now Odyssey is basically just gonna be floating about with the same development cycle, right? They simply decided, hey, instead of releasing it a year later, how about we release it now, cash in now, and just continue doing what we did before release was planned. Just continue working on the same things. It's just that, you know, maybe polish up the launch a little bit more so that, you know, it doesn't look like complete shit. Because the bottom line is, it's just gonna be them working on optimizations first and foremost, just like they had to do before the launch anyways. So the difference is that literally they moved the release. That's all it is. That's all it is. On one hand, although that also kind of means that they can drop the Odyssey in general, support for it sooner. Because the thing is, if you read the if you read Frontier Development's financial reports from time to time, they do mention that for new games, they support them up to 4 years. And for digital expansion DLC releases, they support them for 2 years. Horizons? Anyone? Even though Horizons got Beyond series extra support, mostly, I guess, because they... again, had to cut some features out, like the fleet carriers and squadrons and maybe some other fucking things. Maybe it was just a new addition. But no, I think the fleet carriers were planned, maybe, for Horizons. It's a hard thing to really sort of gauge. Yeah, I'd say it's a hard thing to gauge overall. But anyways, point is, Odyssey is going to be supported for the next 2 years. Whether or not it's going to be actively supported is a question mark, but for the next year for sure, you know, after the release of Odyssey, for the next year, definitely they will be working on just finishing development on it, which will count as support for it. And a year after that, it's probably going to be dropping the features that they, for story reasons, still can't release. So... yeah, as I said, until the consoles also get this thing, the story will stagnate. So yeah, after about a year, after those 2 years, what happens with Odyssey is going to be an interesting thing. Because I said in my video about Elite Dangerous dying or not dying, or is it dying, right? That video, I mentioned at the end, it's not up to us to say whether or not Elite is dying or not. It depends fully on Frontier Developments to either stick and fight for its creative value, for their creative work, and for the community, most of all, as a matter of fact, or drop it and move on to working on another Warhammer game or F1 game. So after those 2 years, we'll see what happens with Elite Dangerous in general. What will be the tone? Whether or not Frontier decides it's not worth staying and fighting. Or will they actually do something about it? Now, it won't be as obvious as seeing the company completely move away from the game. They will try to keep appearance as much as possible to say that, no, seriously, we're still working on this thing. We're supporting it, yeah. As long as you keep buying microtransactions, we'll support it. Yeah. No, I mean by the real fucking development. And that will take about a couple more years to properly see in the retrospect as well, but it is kind of the decision time, isn't it? Whether or not Elite Dangerous will stick around and be supported, or will it be dropped like a, doggy bag? There we go. Dog shitty bag. There you go. Something like that. I'm not very good at these analogies off the top of my head there, but in any case. So yeah, we'll see what's what. But in any case, what has happened in these 3 months after the release? Now, in the first month, obviously, they released patches every week consistently. Hey, Michael, thank you for your generosity there. Really appreciate it. Actually, now that I think that I probably should swap out the donation goal there on the thingamajig real quick. But yeah, in the first month, essentially what developers worked on was quick, maybe dirty implementations of some occlusion, some culling, not occlusion, some culling. But performance-wise, since the launch of Odyssey, bottom line is performance hasn't really changed. It has improved on consistency, but it still is 30 frames a second on those combat zones on the recommended specs. I shit you not. I have the PC to literally play on the recommended specs. I have that exact piece, graphics card and slightly better CPU, as a matter of fact. So technically I should even get slightly better frame rates. But there you go. It's still the performance that is below acceptable, even by their own standards. Because remember, recommended specs, as they explained, were for 60 frames a second on not medium settings. I think it was slightly below medium settings, but 60 frames a second. So a long road ahead, if you will. Give me a moment. How should we call the tip box there? Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Oh yeah, by the way, the SRV that is on the screen, that is no, it wasn't Rhino, it was Scorpion. There we go. It was called Scorpion. It would have rocket launchers and the repeater itself. And it actually was a working piece. I have footage of that, as a matter of fact. I don't want to show the raw footage, though, but, you know, there you go. In any case, let's see. For the Dutch, and Dutch. All right, give me a moment. There we go. All right, for the numbers indeed. Right. So let's see. Right, so in the 3 months, essentially, the performance-wise, performance hasn't improved that much. In space, they finally got the performance working around 70% the way, I would say, from Horizons, if you compare it. That these numbers need to be retested and rechecked, but really hasn't changed that much from the launch. The difference is that in space, it's 70%. On empty planet surfaces like this one, it's about 60% of the performance from Horizons. And on planetary settlements, that is, on the planetary settlements, depending on which one you're at, yeah, it's lower than that. 50 to even 40% or even lower frame rates, depending on what machine you're running it on. That's kind of the situation of the performance. It's, yeah, the settlements are still an issue because that's where you have the not occlusion, but culling that needs to be taken in count. So yeah, in settlements they still haven't gotten around to properly do the proper amount of culling there in the first place. So there you go. Rob, love your content. Keep up the good work. Right. Those that are wondering also, yeah, the super chats don't really go for the Streamlabs tip box, which sucks, but there you go. Streamlabs is always the best way to support the content creator, no matter which one it is, be that me or someone else. Streamlabs is the best one to go for, but regardless, and that also counts for the box there. Anyways, Jenna Poffis, hey, thanks for subscribing there as well for 10 months already. Damn, that's been quite a long time. Thank you. But yeah, anyways, let's see, what else do I have? Actually, I might as well put on slightly different picture. Yeah, I'll put this picture on, because why not? It's evocative. Let's just put that away, and there we go. All right, let's see, I'm on 200 frames per second in space and Horizons, and not moving to that train wreck, and you shouldn't. We will examine essentially what actually we got from Odyssey in just a bit, but let me recap in the last 3 months. So what has happened in the last 3 months? There have been some good things, so let's just go with those. One of them would be that I'm not sure if this is a good thing that should be celebrated, but planets have gotten extra color on them. Now the question is, just like with the building system that I mentioned before, if that comes out, with the planets right now, with the extra colors that they introduced in the, I think a couple of weeks ago, should we celebrate that improvement on the planet visuals when we know that that might have been planned before and was supposed to be part of the release and was simply cut down just so they can release it quicker? Should we celebrate that? That's the big question. We never know this information. So I would say it's a good change. It's an okay change, but I'm very suspicious of whether or not that was part of the cut content or cut features or cut anything. And yeah, there are bigger issues with planet surfaces as well. The colors really don't help the fact that the planet surfaces still look like crap, frankly speaking. Yeah, you can enjoy it, sure. Yeah, I agree with that. You can still enjoy it. And Warhand, guten Tag, yeah. But yeah, anyways, after that, let's see. The good thing, right. The actually good thing that they changed was the new camera. Essentially, what they did with the camera was now the camera collides. Well, camera collides with whatever there is to be collided. And Jenna Poffis, hey, Amix, quick question. Is the ugly cockpit still apparent? The one where you made a comparison Horizons. Ah, yes. Well, let me just show that then. The camera, though, however, is a good change, even though it introduces some other annoyances. And it's not a full, proper... only good change. It has its basically they got rid of one annoyance and introduced a smaller but still a different annoyance. So I'm not 100% on it, but I appreciate the work. So yeah. Anyways, let me just open up. God damn it! Where is it? There we go. So the HUD, if you will, the look of the HUD. The answer to that is this is Odyssey. This is Horizons. This is Odyssey. This is Horizons. This is Odyssey. This is Horizons. Odyssey. Horizons. Odyssey. Horizons. It's still overblown. So yeah, it's too bright to this day. They did on the forums, they did put up a focused feedback thread. So if you're willing to contribute information there, unless you're banned like a lot of us, yeah, highly doubt yeah, you're gonna be, you know, able to provide any feedback. But there you go. That's the difference there. So hopefully that answers that. Anyways, right. So with the camera, as I said previously, the camera is the good change. The only kind of a good change, though. Let's see if I can get below the planet's surface, because it was. Yeah, there we go. I'm below the planet's surface, and I can't. Oh wait, no, I can get back up. Right? Give me a moment. Come on. Yeah, you see, this kind of the annoyance when you try. Ah, there we go. Right. So the blackout is still there, but let me just try and get it next. Yeah, I can't get. Oh no, it's off. It's off. Basically, it still goes beyond the limits of the models, if you will. It's not a perfect one. Also, the faster you put on the speed of the camera, yeah, and also collisions. As soon as you collide with anything, it changes the trajectory of your camera, which is not the greatest thing. So yeah, it's a hit and miss. It's acceptable. I'm not sure about that, but well, for the time being, I guess it is better than it was. That's yeah, and yeah, you can get at least closer to the ship finally, which is also nice. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Not that there is no issues, of course. So yeah. Anyways, let's just leave it like that. So yeah, but yeah, I'd say camera is the positive that essentially came from the last 3 months. Planet color change is a questionable one, as I said, because honestly, with this sort of a release, we might as well guess that it was planned originally and was simply skipped in order to actually release the whole thing and it would work. So whether or not the planet coloring was originally planned or not is really up to developers to disclose, and honestly I doubt that they will be honest about that information or will ever actually answer that question. Because, well, if they admit that things were cut or that things were released unready, they can be sued. So that's kind of the issue there. So just purely out of the legal reasons, yeah, they might not even answer it. In any case, right, in the last 3 months, what has else changed? Oh yeah, engineering was broken. When they released it, some of the engineering materials for legs or some of the engineers did not quite work right. Another thing that was changed since launch, and this was a design change, was UI, partially. Outfitting UI was horrendous on alpha. You can watch my whole video explaining and analyzing the UI and how horrible it is. Still to this day, the UI is what it is. For example, you open up... Actually, I did a video just today about the outfitting, right? So let me just Where did I put the footage? I think, no, not Star Citizen. It was outfitting. There we go. So, outfitting wise, come on. Let's see. That's. I think it should be here. Let me just volume down. Here we go. Right, so you basically open up your outfitting, right? You open up any kind of a module, let's say burst lasers, like I have opened here on the video. You open up your whole weapon, new weapon section, right? You want to buy a fresh new weapon. What this fucking thing offers is not only just the available modules on the station, space station, starport, whatever, but also it immediately, instantly spams the view with your own existing modules. Not only that, there are 2 rows of this stuff. So it goes F, 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 G, 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 F, right? And there are some other ones. Right, here we go. Here we can see the genius of this whole fucking thing. Now, of course, there are sorting, right? It currently is sorted by high to low from the price. However, the point is, it sorts it in a 2-row, well, rather 2-column section, sort of, or no. It sorts by 2 rows. Or rows of 2. There we go. It sorts of rows of 2. So it's E, F, D, D, E, D. There's price. Of course, this is price-wise, but still, this would be more expensive. This is less expensive. This is less expensive than that, and this is even less expensive than that before. So it doesn't have. Why did they chose to go with 2 rows is my big question, frankly speaking. That's my point. It is hard to quickly gauge from basically a drop-down menu, like you would normally expect every lower thing to be, less expensive or lesser grade or whatnot else. Rather, now you have to deal with constant memory that one below your item is not gonna be less expensive. It's gonna be 2 less expensive or lesser than the previous one according to the sort list. And that's the issue. It's not easy or quick to get around with. And of course there's the stats below and a few other annoyances. Storing modules and bringing out modules also is an issue, as you saw before. Like, you know, your modules, stored modules appearing at the top, which is annoying. Then there's selling a module as well. Let me get this. I think. Yeah, here we go. So you buy something, and I need something to replace things. Something that would replace things. Come on. There we go. That's the screen. Alright, so basically you buy a new module, and you don't have the screen to choose whether to buy and replace the module that you are about to buy and sell the previous module that you were working. You need to make sure that you have this tick box or slider toggle. There we go. This toggle selected on one or the other. And when you leave it, let's say you suddenly don't need that old power plant, right? You don't need that old power plant. Fuck it. You want to sell it. You switch it to sell the module that you're replacing. Fine. Then you go on to weapons. Then you want to exchange one of your engineered modules. And forget, conveniently, that your toggle here was set to sell. All of a sudden, you are selling your fucking weapon. Kind of the issue, isn't it? I mean, the old one was... the funny thing is, before this change, they changed it a little bit. The funny thing is, they at default had sell the module, not store it. So by default, these days, it is storing the module, but that's just changing the default when you open it for the first time. After you've, for the first time, have opened it and switched it to one or the other, You'll forget that the other one is... The worst thing that can happen is you sell your modules. The less worst thing that happens is like what like what happened to me when I was filming this thing. Your module storage is filled with garbage, as you're constantly storing the stuff that you're, you know, exchanging, like non-engineered stuff. Neither one is good. One is even worse than the other one. Why did they need to put in a fucking toggle is beyond me, frankly speaking. So yeah, the UI. So they changed a little bit of the UI. For example, now the default UI for outfitting. Let me just pick a ship. There we go. Come on. Right, there we go. Come on, open up. So you open up outfitting, and it opens right away for this screen. Okay. Seems about right. Still, you have the stored module. Why is the stored module fucking icon this low and just like one of these other fucking things? I don't understand as well. It's a bad design, bottom line. However, what it used to be and what they changed it from, it wasn't better anyways, but let me just check. Where did I film it? Which phase was it? Was it phase 2? Phase 3? Maybe it was phase 2. Hold on. There we go, I think. So this, yeah, there we go. So you go in out, and that was the menu that you were greeted with before the change. Now this was fucking stupid. Really, really fucking stupid. Because you have either the modules you can overall buy, then you, and remember, you're just browsing the whole selection within the starport. When you press that button, the button below is the actual one that you want. Why is there the module shop in general is, again, that was beyond me, but they changed it. So they changed it. Okay. But the UI is still unintuitive. The word unintuitive is definitely the one that I would use right now. Now, there were a couple of things that they also changed. For example, changing your loadout, right? Back in alpha, you would be only able to change your loadout in your ship or SRV. Now you're able to change your loadout on station interior terminals as well. So that was one change that they did. I don't think that they mentioned it in any of the patch notes. I didn't read it there anyways. I didn't notice it, but I noticed it upon release a couple of months later. So yeah, there you go. That was one quality of life change that they apparently made. But yeah, speaking of that also, information, right? Let's see. No, that's there. Right, stats. Also, weapon stats have been changed. Essentially, this was the alpha phase 2 weapon stats. You can tell a lot from this weapon stat, can't you? I sure as hell can. Yeah, right? So they did change and introduce a couple more stats. Well, let's see, was it weapon test training? Hold on. No, it was, I think, here. Quite a lot of testing I did. So yeah, you can see basically how much footage I end up, you know, going through and using and filming and so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys can appreciate the work I put in. But no, it's not here. Where was it? Was it suit engineering? No, it wasn't under suit engineering. Oh god, the weapon stuff. Oh god. Weapon tests. No. Damn it, where the hell did I put the fucking stuff? Anyways, I made a whole video about FPS stuff and so on and so forth. There, I basically showcased the clip where there's this screen and the new screen, essentially. Actually, what the fuck am I doing? I can even just simply show it to you. There we go. Genius move is all I can say. Right, so now, these days, you can see a bit more stats. A bit. But not all the stats. And that's very apparent on the weapons. For example, this stuff, right? Hip fire accuracy, stability. What the fuck does that mean? Beyond me. Damage. Does that mean damage per shot? Most likely, but there you go. Also, the quality JPEG that you can see on the screen right there. And that's not the stream quality. That's the game quality. I'm running this on maximum graphics, by the way. And this is what I get for the visuals. This definitely feels like it has been tested, hasn't it? Anyways, you do a lot more work than just flying around, taking footage and planets. I'm just saying. Yeah, all right then. Right. But yeah, weapon-wise, it's just... For example, where's the reload speed? Is there a reload speed? There is no reload speed. There's just a clip size and that's it. Fire rate, which is okay. Usually you would also see a number of rounds per minute rather than... yeah, it's rounds per minute. So basically you need to calculate this times a second. For times a minute, basically. Because rounds per minute is a more proper number that you can actually judge weapons fire rate for. But regardless... At least they may... Actually, now that I think of it, do you guys know any other game that... FPS game that judges weapons fire rate by rounds a second rather than rounds per minute or 1 round per X time unit? Because I've seen, you know, some games basically boast the single round firing rate or the rounds per minute. Titanfall 2, you say? Ah, interesting. Well, I played the solo campaign, so I never really noticed that stuff, so okay. But now, damage per second is easily calculated. Damage per second is easily calculated by just going with a rate of fire times damage plus reload, and divide by the time that it has total going on. So there you go. That's how you judge the damage per second. That includes the fire rate as well. Headshot damage is also kind of weird because again, you don't have headshots when the shields are on. That's again. Go watch my mega video on. FPS combat and FPS analysis that talks fully about this information and bullshit. So yeah, basically, let's see. Better yet, I like the attachments, or rather modifications and information on engineering for them. It really is just there's no information about what each modification really does properly. Some of them have partial stats in it, but not all the stats. Which is the weirdest fucking thing as well. So yeah, they still haven't changed this bullshit. They've added few little things, but... it's not all there. It's unacceptable for a first-person shooter game, in my opinion. It really is. When you know that somebody could easily add extra more stuff, extra more stats. In fact... people have already done in this game alone. Remember that ship stats offer this and more information, but the space legs pew-pews, there's barely any information in comparison. And engineering as well, the fact that you can't remove the engineering stuff and blah 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 blah. But anyways, in the last 3 months they've changed just that little bit of stat portion, and the fact that you can outfit your stuff on the station terminals rather than needing to go back to the ship to outfit stuff. So there you go. Hopefully we can feel happy now, right, for that. Yes, do you think that Odyssey needs a dedicated game designer? Well, they do. In fact, they do have two. Wait, no. They have two directors. At least for the Odyssey. They had two directors. The one that was the public face, and the other one that you saw, probably, if you did watch back in 2017, the Frontier Expo. There's the other game director. Again, I never go with names, and this is where you can see that I never go with names because I don't remember. Sorry, guys. I'd like to credit you, but I don't remember the game director names. That's how dedicated I am not to talk about, persons. But anyways, game designers. Oh gods, there are a few of them within the company. It's hard to say how much right now, but there you go. I'm feeling that the personal narrative for the ships, the same person who did the personal narrative for ships doing the first person stuff. No, I can guarantee no, that wasn't that. But it's actually worse. The first person stuff is absolutely worse than that. Anyways, on the retrospective about the last 3 months, what else was changed? Thus far, for the exobiology, the gameplay has not changed. They haven't added back in anything that would be different for the gameplay, so they've left it as stand around, look at the plant, get in the ship, fly kilometers away, and find another similar looking plant. That's it. So that hasn't changed. Let's see. What has changed aside from that? Oh god, give me a moment. Let me think. No new additions, as I said previously. They haven't added any new feature, any new gameplay in the game at all, because they can't. I talked about this, so really what they've done are some slight changes. Oh yeah, right, they did mention with the camera change. Yeah, actually no, the camera is literally the only addition that has come that I can genuinely say was purely out of somebody's good heart. The camera change truly was the only one that was added as a new feature. Well, I wouldn't say a new feature, but quality of life improvement of old existing feature that is unrelated to Odyssey. So that's the only kind of addition, semi-addition that we've gotten. Literally. We have no new ships, no new SRVs, even though I showcase... Hold on, no, we need to put it on screen. We need to put... There we go. We don't have this yet. So until the performance is good enough so that consoles can run Odyssey, don't expect any of the new content to come out that is story related. Neither Targoid, first-person shooter related stuff, or elsewise. Speaking of Targoid stuff, give me a moment. I'll find something fun for you to look at. Give me a moment. No, that's not it. Where the hell did I put it? Ah, yes, there we go. Give me a moment. There we go. Let's just have some fun. Right. There you go. That's an old... By the way, those that don't know, this is an old 3D model that was sent to me by an anonymous... There we go. Anonymous source. Genuinely, it was an anonymous source. But yeah, there you go. You can actually check it out online and pick it up and play with it, if you will. So yeah, there are two of them, as a matter of fact. And that squeak was for... God damn it, YouTube! You sent the wrong squeak again. In any case. So yeah, basically that was the original idea for the Targoid from 2014. as a matter of fact. And yeah, that is no longer the actual representation of Targoids. So something new will be coming out. You know, when I posted the leak video about this stuff, at the time, Will Flanagan was the community manager. I don't remember if he was the lead community manager, but regardless, he commented on it, explaining that this was original. This is legit Targoid, but that's no longer representative. He said, and I try to paraphrase this correctly. No longer representative of the current plans. Yeah, that's how more or less they named or talked about this stuff. So there you go. But yeah, there you go. That's what we got basically for the future stuff and for the deprecated stuff and whatnot else. Let's see. Hey, haven't played for a year. Do you have any disadvantages if you skip the Space Legs expansion? Absolutely none. As a matter of fact, we could compile a list of features and so on and so forth. Actually, that was my original plan to do in Photoshop, but looks like it, looks like it's. I've talked long enough already as is about it. But yeah, a good question. Does Odyssey is Odyssey necessary to get better enjoyment or advantage over other players? See, back in the day, with Horizons, engineering was such a powerful addition to the game that you had to have it. If you wanted to do anything combat related, you had to have it. If you wanted to be the best, furthest, fastest explorer, you had to have Horizons just for that one engineering upgrade, just for that one thing. However, anything that you can do on Space Legs is very minimal. The missions that are given to Space Legs are really not well paying. They're about average at the best of times. And upgrades you can get on the Space Legs are far less powerful than SRV or a ship with a rocket launcher, or a missile launcher, I mean. So, combat-wise, no. Exploration-wise, no. Oh, actually, no. With exploration, you can maybe say yes, because, well, you can land on atmospheric planets, and, safe to say, story-wise, when they finish developing optimization for the game and release it on consoles, and when the story finally can resume, then yeah, then maybe you might need to pick up Odyssey just to experience the same story unraveling, because you know, just like with Horizons on the planets, you might see some special things on atmospheric planets eventually, but that will probably come in about 6 months at the soonest. So there you go. The summary basically is, until optimization is actually developed or finished being developed, maybe then. Maybe then. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, that's basically the message overall. Fucking hell. So yeah, overall, that's that kind of a grim note. After 3 months, performance-wise, it has become more consistent. However, it hasn't really improved. I actually do need to go back on my streaming rig and recheck the performance on some of these things. But yeah, it really hasn't improved that much. Streaming Raven, right, so I think the biggest fail is that Targoid's storyline didn't continue. Yeah, you can blame that on many people, frankly speaking, mostly because they simply didn't had proper writing staff, or maybe somebody that gave a fuck about actually having a story within Dangerous. the fact of the matter is, for me, in Elite Dangerous, there was never a story. There has never been a proper story. It was always snippets of pointless information that led nowhere. And to this day, leads nowhere. There has never been a plan. I mean, it's been 6 months, 6 years. Sorry, fuck. It's been 6 years. Can you really say that there is an overlaying story going on? Targoid stuff literally stopped dead at its tracks, and the same with Guardians. It just stopped. So, yeah. I personally say there is no story in Elite Dangerous. It really isn't. So, so that basically is kind of depressing thought, but there we go, basically. In any case, let's see if there are, let's see, do we have any other questions or information that y'all want to know about the current state and the sort of ongoing process of Elite Dangerous? Yamike, okay. Do you think we need new ships? No. Fact of the matter is, we don't need new ships. It'd be nice to have new ships, but we don't need new ships. Thing is, unlike Pilot, who has absolutely no fucking taste, and Pilot, who has weird opinions on how to make a game without actually knowing how to make a game and what makes a game and interesting things and so on and so forth, but okay, no, I'm just pulling the leg on a Pilot while he's not here. But no, on the serious note though, just like with every game out there, do you really need the same thing over and over again, or do you need a thing that fills a specific gameplay slot or a gameplay type? Say for example, let's take Counter-Strike. Do you need 10 different AWPs, right? Do you need those one hit kill snipers, 10 of them, different ones, or rather would you take actually different weapons that each fill a different role, or even then has slightly different alternative settings or stats than the existing weapons? The same thing goes with Elite Dangerous. We have ships for literally almost all gameplays and almost all types of gameplays and so on and so forth. Generally speaking, there is very few. Yes, there are a few places that we could still shove a ship in, and it would fill a niche. But those niches are extremely narrow, as is. Because we already have copy-paste ships as is. Crate 2 and Python, they are copy-paste ships. Mamba and Ferdlands. Sure, Mamba is notably different than Ferdlands, but basic idea is, well, they are copies almost. Well, they, first of all, also look like a copy, basically. They are made like copies. Stats are basically the same. So we don't need more of the same stuff. No. Yeah, we don't need more skins, basically. I mean, for that, we already have the fucking exploitative goddamn skins for microtransactions, and we don't need more of those either. But the point is that Viper 3 and Cobra 3, no. Viper 3, you see, Viper 4 serves the purpose of a niche of a really tough combat small ship. It is the most armor ridden, that is, you can put the most hull on Viper 4 than any other small ship. And it has, the same specs out as Viper and Cobra and so on and so forth. So they're not exactly the same. Cobra 3, on the other hand, is a perfect all-rounder. It's made as a multi-purpose ship, and it is a multi-purpose ship, literally. While Viper 4 is specifically geared towards that hull tanking, despite the fact that hull tanks are a joke in the current version of Elite Dangerous, as well as the past of Elite Dangerous, because hull tanks, the only time I can recall hull tanks actually being somewhat viable was before Horizons. After Horizons came out, that's it. Shields are a mandatory thing. That's it. So there you go. So yeah, no more new ships. We don't need them, though I wouldn't say no to it. Let's see. We need the Puma and the Panther. Oh, yeah. We definitely those ships, yeah. We already have the fucking fleet carriers. What more do you want? But regardless, yeah. Well, generally speaking, let's see. Anything else? Yeah, that's about it, basically. In the last 3 months, since Odyssey has come out, very little has been actually done. Performance-wise, it has changed barely at all. It has retained, or rather improved, its consistency. So instead of jumping up and down frame rates from 20 to 40, you're gonna have consistent 30, and maybe sometimes 40. So a little bit higher, but not enough to justify returning, frankly speaking. And that's a sad statement that I have to give. So if you're gonna go and play Elite Dangerous, play it in Horizons. Enjoy Horizons for its immersive feel, for its incredible immersion and all that stuff. But don't look at Odyssey as a must-buy. Instead of that, spend that $40 price tag on beer or something, basically. I would say my Patreon, for example, could use your support, but realistically speaking, no. Odyssey is not ready for any kind of proper consumption. Gameplay-wise, there is either very bad space FPS gameplay, which doesn't even have the EVA gameplay or anything like that. The wow moment of, oh wow, I can have space legs and walk around my ship, is ruined by the Armstrong moment, and planets, the textures, well, unless you really go for the screenshot aspect of things, yeah, the planet surfaces are very, very shitty, frankly speaking. Actually, let me just show you the comparison between a couple of things. Yeah, let me show you a comparison between Lagrange clouds, planet. No, wait. Yeah, there we go. Pomeche. There we go. Let me show you the difference between Pomeche in the big canyon planet in Horizons and in Odyssey. So this is Horizons. This is the good old fabled testicle planet of Pomeche 3C. 2C, sorry, 2C. So Pomeche 2C. It's very beautiful. It's really evocative. Unrealistic as fuck, but I fucking love it. It's one of those unique planets, right? Let's see. So yeah, interesting canyons and all that stuff. So yeah, there you go. It's a very, very, pretty planet. I recommend going there in Horizons and just enjoying the testicleness and spectacleness of it. Very spectacular testicle indeed, yes. So yeah, it's very pretty. And this is Odyssey. This is what happened with it in Odyssey. So chats, what do you think? Which one is better? Come on, let me know. Which one do you think is better? Is this update 6? This was... Oh god, when did I film it? That would be 19. No, wait, no. Oh wow, that was from the the alpha period. Yeah, for the end of the stream, let's go to Pomeches 2C. Fuck it. Let's go and examine how Pomechi right now in the current version of the game looks like. Because, hey, that was old footage, right? Maybe it's changed, right? Come on, it probably changed, right? Yeah. Let's see. Would you... Would probably find an asteroid belt and jump his asteroid basin. Nobody could disturb his silence. What? Okay. Come on, just explode faster, you fucking piece of crap. Can you fit 88 people in Cobra? Well, through stream, I can. Through the powers of internet streaming, yes, I can. Thanks. Gotta pick up a ship that I have good jump range on. Can you get out on on foot while self-destructing? No! You literally can't press any buttons, which is... Actually, now that you've mentioned it, it is weird. You put the ship on self-destruct, you got 30... What the hell? It should be possible. Holy shit, I never really thought about it. God damn it. Let's see. Yep, the frame rate also here is unique, right? You're not seeing any worse frame rate than I'm seeing right now. The scrolling frame rate is horrible. Let's see, that's no. Where is my... There we go. The doors are broken. Oh no, right, yeah. Alright, come on. Oh yeah, right, I can use the teleportation. Here we go. I launched the ship and I will be teleported. Yes. Yes, I can use the unique teleportation. Ha 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 ha. Well, as long as... also, I'm running on RAID 1 NVMe drives. 2 RAID 1 NVMe drives. And it loads this slowly, mind you. Yes, by the way, fellas, those that don't know, my original drive... Not exactly died, but, well, it exhibited problems. So I figured I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna go with 2 NVMe drives, and then that is Samsung 970 Evos, I think it was. In RAID 1 them, and yeah, it runs just fine. I wonder how slow the Star Citizen still would load in that one, though. There we go. Let's go to Pomechi. But yeah, mostly because, mostly the reason why your stuff loads slowly is because the network. It needs to retrieve information from network before, you know, it loads and stuff and so on and so forth. That's why most games actually take quite a long time to load. Sometimes it's because the game is just coded poorly and horribly and blah blah blah, but other times it's mostly because the servers can't retrieve the information properly back to your account. So there you go. Let's ram the station, come on, hold on maneuver. Let's go. Hold on. Ah! Blah. Oh god, the Star Wars movies, man. Alright, here we go. Oh god damn it, I need to set up stuff properly. But anyways, Pomecha, here we come. To come all over you. Maybe.
Frameshift drive charging.
Also, didn't Babylon 5 do the open jump for a jump point inside the enemy ship first? I don't remember. Hard to say. Have I ever played Star Drive? No. Do you have HOTAS? I don't have hot ass, but maybe I do. I don't know. But as in hands-on, throttle, and stick. No. The answer would be no. Pomecha to C. 2 and C. There we go. Oh, they actually added more color to it. Holy shit. Yeah, they added more color to it. Whoa. Now it looks like an inverse snow planet? Yeah. Mountaintops are bare, while the bottoms are white. What? It really feels like an... What the hell? Why? Okay, fuck it. That honestly doesn't matter. Maybe it's a... Maybe... Maybe it's that salt planet from Star Wars. Oh, God. Picture of Yamix Hota's Patreon reward. No, no, no. My Patreon rewards are simple. All Patreon rewards give the Discord role, and $20 what was it? Patreon tier is also being credited in the mega videos that I release, like the one I did release today. Videos that are above 30 minutes or so. Your name will be credited at the end as a big thank you. Also, Yam's OnlyFans. Well, maybe. Funny thing is, OnlyFans is closing down on the pornography, right? Didn't you hear it? Yeah, everyone's mass exodusing on Patreon now, basically because of it. So yeah, it's the OnlyFans is getting scrutinized for the pornography, and then don't want to deal with it, and it's gonna close the stuff for the starting October. So there you go. Apparently solo stuff is still good. Apparently, yeah, some nudity and whatnot else will be still accepted, but apparently they want to gear towards the musicians, artists, and whatnot else, which is just bullshit. They've just simply been scrutinized by their partners, financial partners, and basically everyone around, because they got too big, basically. That's the bottom line. OnlyFans has gotten just simply too big. Also, yeah, that'd be a pretty interesting topic for the Space-Based News. Oh, right, also, Space-Based News is happening on Sunday, because Saturday, that is tomorrow, I'm heading out to Unicorn here in Latvia. So if you're around, come and say hi. So yeah, this is the Pomecha 2C. I mean, it doesn't look like that shit anymore, but Jesus Christ, does... I don't know about you, but it looks even worse than previously. Oh my God, what is this? Oh, wow, okay. This is just now. No, this makes no... What is this? Is the white stuff cum, snow, or salt? Either which way, it doesn't fucking make sense that the mountaintops... Well, I mean, this is atmosphere-less planet, but why... What is this planet? It's a reverse snow planet. It's a reverse mountain planet, basically. This is Pomechi 2C, ladies and gents. It doesn't look as grim as before, but... Yeah, it looks like something, indeed. So yeah, it's, no. It's just no. Yeah. Sad to see that good old planet go. Well, it's gonna be about 6 months still at the minimum before Horizons players will get this new planet tech and the textures and so on and so forth. So we can breathe easy for the next 6 months. After that, we're fucked. Exploration is fucked. Anyways, I suppose this would be a good end as any to sort of put a pin in it about the retrospective. So, visually speaking, they've changed the planets a little bit, coloring-wise, but planet surfaces still are shit. UIs are slightly improved, but still shit. Especially the on-foot UIs, those are just absolutely horrible. And the performance has barely changed. So there you go. That's the result. It's still not worth it. It's gonna be months before it actually could be considered working properly. And even then, all you get is a space pew pew game that is a space FPS pew pew game, which is horrible. Really, really, really bad in my opinion. And Exploration Edition is non-existent gameplay and grind. If you like grind, you're gonna like this. Hope you like grind.
Hope you fucking like the grind. God damn it. You okay? Like it, okay?
But anyways, on serious note though, thanks guys for watching. As always, do support the content I create and so on and so forth on the Discord, on the Patreon, there we go. Join the Discords, there are links down below and all that wonderful stuff. You guys take care for the Friday, and well, I'll see you then on the Spaceways News at the end of the week, and yeah, we'll see what's what. But that aside, man, Elite looks grim. Or rather, well, this one fucking expansion, yeah, fucked everyone. Maybe except for executives and stuff like that. So fuck them. Fuck the higher ups on front-end developments. They deserve to be pillared for this just bullshit that they pulled, basically. So there you go. That's about it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around next time.